Hi everyone. So today, welcome to Get UNSTUCK Radio, and today I have special guest Patricias Talavera from Syt Biz, and she helps women entrepreneurs stop hiding in their own experience and be more visible online with the website. So today we will talk about website, workplace, and stuff, and how can you be more visible online. Thank you for joining me today, Patricia.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about when you were younger. How can you start your entrepreneur journey?
So I wanted to go into psychology when I was younger. So I was in my undergraduate degree for psychology, and you can't really do anything with a undergrad. You need to like go for a master's or a doctorate degree. But at that point, I was like, you know what? I need to work and do something. So I got a job right after college, and it turned out to be like a really toxic environment for me. So after that happened, I'm like, you know what? I think I'd just rather work for myself. And at the time, my sister was an army wife who was having a hard time holding a regular job while trying to support her husband who was active duty. So we're like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just start our own business. And so we spent a couple of years kind of trying to figure it out. And then 3 years in, we finally decided to go with website design because it's something that we've kind of fiddled with our whole lives. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So let's just do that. So we've been doing that. Actually, just celebrated 7 years since we rebranded and decided to focus on website design just like literally 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I like new things. So in your 7 years entrepreneur journey, like how it's like any ups and downs or like everything smooth or like exponentially good? Tell me more about it.
So many ups and downs. So when me and my sister started, she had the one daughter. And since we've been doing this, we added 4 kids. So we're up to 5 between the two of us. And my son is the youngest. He turns 1 year old later this month.
Oh.
So it's been fun trying to figure out being a mom to two during the pandemic while working. And now I have to homeschool my daughter because the virtual thing wasn't working for us. So I
Mm-hmm.
made the decision to officially homeschool her last month. So trying to kind of figure out how all these pieces fit together while trying to make sure that I have a little bit left for my sanity and my husband would like some attention every once in a while. Like it's been hard trying to make all those pieces fit together. But you know, at the end of the day, the fact that I work for myself, I know that's why I have the flexibility to decide to homeschool my daughter, and you know, I can do my best to kind of do everything around my son. So I'm really lucky that even though there have been a lot of ups and downs along the way, like for the most part, being an entrepreneur has really served my life and my bigger goals. So it's totally worth it.
Yeah, but I believe that one of the things is that to have a business within a family is quite challenging though, but seems like you have done it very well. Yeah, I mean, not many people have a able to do partnership well within the family members, to be honest.
Yeah, no, and you know, we get that all the time, and I'm like, and I think it helps that, you know, me and my twin sister,
Oh,
we have
twins.
boundaries. Yeah, my twin sister, we have boundaries in place that for the most part, business doesn't leak into personal and personal doesn't
Ah.
leak into business. So we've done pretty well with that. Not always, mind you, but for the most part, we do pretty well with that. And actually, my husband, who's a graphic designer, helps us out a lot too, both for our stuff and sometimes for our clients. And but that is a different story. Like if I was working with my husband full time, it'd be a different story. Because our working styles are just so different that I think we drive each other nuts like really, really quickly. But me and my sister, we work a lot the same way, so we get along fine. But yeah, I think if I worked with my husband full time, it wouldn't be pretty.
Well, but you pay him, isn't it? Or he pays you?
Yeah, I mean
Sorry.
that's the one thing that honestly has been great for, you know, me running my business is that he has supported me like this whole time. And you know, it's kind of hard when you're doing it for yourself that there are some really good months and then there are some not so good months, and you know, we're trying to get to a place where it's kind of a little bit more even, but it seems like just when you're starting to hit a groove, then one of the kids lands in the ER, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't work for a couple of weeks
Right.
because this happened, and you know, this happens and this happens, and somebody needs this and somebody needs that. And so it just seems like we keep taking hit after hit. And then the pandemic happened, and now I'm just like, they're not going back to school? What do you mean they're not going back to school? So, you know, it's a lot of adjustments, but I mean, honestly, I couldn't imagine not doing what I'm doing. So
Yeah,
it's worth it.
I mean, at least we are our own boss, right? We're able to
Right,
make our own schedule along
right,
with our life, let's say.
right,
And that's how business should be, not the other way around. Like many people still work in their business and then let
right,
their business drive how they live. But
right,
I do strongly believe that we have to set up our lifestyle first and how things going on realistically, and then build
right.
a business following that. So let's talk about it. I really like your website name. Let your website do the talking. How this idea came from?
That's funny actually, because so the our main package, the Let Your Website Do the Talking, is actually a collaboration with a copywriter who we connected with like several years ago. We tried to launch something with her back then, but life kind of got in the way. So when she came back around last year, you know, or earlier this year, me and my sister's like, you know, we've been trying to think of how we could step up our services and offer more value to our clients. And the reality is that having a great design isn't enough if your copy isn't there. So we're like, we should just partner with her and offer like this all-in-one experience for these women entrepreneurs that are ready to hit the next level, but they need some help from people who's, you know what I mean, whose genius it is to kind of do that kind of stuff for them. And honestly, she's done our copy too, because I'm not, I was like, that's not my thing at all. And I'll be staring at a blank page for like ever before I'm like, I should probably write something. I'm just gonna write something and then I'll fix it later. But then I'm like, nope, that sucks, that sucks, that sucks. So I'm like, I've been sitting here staring at this for like a long time. Let's just pay her to do it instead. So, you know, so she actually came up with that. So I can't take credit for that. She came up with that. And you know, we're really lucky to be able to work with her, because I for one want to set my clients up for success, and I just really feel like having really strong copy and really strong design and knowing who you're talking to and how to talk about what you do is going to be what helps them really hit the next level.
Yeah, so let's start from there. So you mentioned that the design of the website, the copy of the content within the website. So what exactly important within the website in your opinion?
So we in my experience, one of the biggest things that people often forget about when they're building a website is that sometimes, and most times, it's more important to be clear than clever, because it's like
Mm.
I'll be on a sales page and then there'll be like a button and I'll be like, am I scheduling a call? Am I buying something? I don't understand what comes next. Or there's this story I always tell about how I wanted to buy a book and it said, you have to email us and then we'll email you instructions on how to buy the book. And I was like, you're going to email me instructions on how to buy a book? No, that's too much work. That's too much work. I'm not going to do that. So it's like, you have to
Oh,
super clear what you want them to do and then make it easy for them to do it. You know what I mean? Especially now that there are so many tools to kind of streamline things, that people should be able to book on your website. People should be able to, you know, schedule a call with you or email you without having to be like, oh, here's my email. Now go to your email and email me. I'm like, that's too that's too much work. You have to make it as easy as possible, because people will get confused, people will get frustrated, and then they'll be like, you know what, I don't really want to do this anyway. And then you never know how much business you miss out on because people can't use your website. You know what I mean?
yeah, I feel you actually. I am one of those who still procrastinate doing this copywriting, just fully disclosure. And yeah, I still haven't set my mind out to finish my website just yet. How many guests on board? I'm like, whenever I have to talk about website, I'm like, yeah, I haven't finished that yet. It's not yet my priority. So bad, so bad. I know that this is so bad, but so let me ask you this. For someone who overwhelmed like me, like I'm just like, okay, for me, yeah. Um, what exactly important, like between funnel and website? Like What is your opinion? Or like, what are the pages that quite important within the website?
I mean, if you're just starting out, you know, you don't even need a full website because there's such a thing as too much white space. So it's like if somebody lands on your website and you have 5 pages, but most of them are just glaring white space because you didn't have enough copy to fill it up, or worse, that you can't get past the fact that you don't have enough copy, so then you just don't do anything. Like, it's okay to start with something very basic, like a picture of you, a quick bio. This is what I can do for you. This is how you book with me. That's it. Even that is better than nothing. And anybody can write a paragraph about themselves. You know what I mean? So like, just start with the basics. But if you have enough content, then most of the time it's going to be like a home page, an about page, testimonials if you've got them, samples of your work, and then descriptions of your services. Like, those are the pages we most often deal with people. And then depending on what else goes on it, you could have a contact page. But if it's literally just a contact form, you could probably work that in somewhere else instead of having a whole other page for it.
So right now, if I'm understand it correctly, so from your service is from workplace side, right? Like not from other service, like those Squarespace, Wix, or any, there are many of them. So do you build like from ground up from workplace?
I use WordPress for my websites, and we use a specific theme called Divi because it's a drag and drop, so we can set it up, but the clients can do their maintenance. Because before, what really held me back from doing website design was that I could design it, but maintaining it was such a pain, and I had no desire to maintain other people's websites, but I also had no desire to hand them over something they really couldn't use. You know what I mean? So when we decided to start looking into website design, that's when WordPress was becoming bigger and bigger. And then we heard about themes like Divi that's literally just like drag and drop. I'm like, oh, I can do that because I can set it up for them, and then they can do some of the basic editing. And if they get really stuck, then they can call me and I can help them out. And so it felt like a nice middle for everybody, right? Like, it's easier for me to hand it over to them and train them how to use it, but they could always come to me if they really got stuck on something.
Yeah, don't get me wrong though. I do have a team to do that thing, but it's me who haven't made decisions. So actually it's my bad. Don't follow me, everyone who is listening. Yeah. I'm very not decisive at all. I'm just like, I do like that style, but I also like this one, and I couldn't make decisions.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it, honestly. And we actually have our main website, which is the Let Your Website Do the Talking, but we also have a passion project for military, and that's actually template based because we were running into people that are like, I don't know what I want. And so I was like, okay, well, do you want A, B, or C? And they're like, oh, I want that one. Oh, I want that one. And everything just went so much smoother. So I was like, so honestly, for some people, there are just so many choices that they're like, I don't even know where to start. So it's better to be able to show them something. And even if they decide they don't want to go with any of those things, at least they'd have a better idea of, oh, this is what I want. And oh, this isn't what I want. And honestly, that's something we tell all of our clients to do. I'm like, just go Google something and just be like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I definitely like this. And then we can kind of start to get an idea of what it is that you want and kind of go from there. But if you don't know anything else, usually like, I can tell you what I don't like. Like, that's the bare minimum. Most people can say what I don't like. And even that gives you a starting point rather than just being like, I need a website. Lots of people need websites. I'm gonna need more than that from you to be able to create something for you.
Oh, I have like a reference portfolio that, because when you see something that you like, you're gonna save it in your bookmark, right? And then it's like, hey, I like this one, and I also like this part. I feel like I'm very picky in some certain area, and like,
Yeah.
so it becomes procrastinate. Like, this is very bad. I mean, it could get done by one day, to be honest, but it's just me. I bet you have met like many clients that like me, like I just don't like that just yet. Let me find another.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, my husband is a graphic designer. He'll be like, the client said this, but they meant this, and then he'll nail it. And I was like, I'm so jealous of that talent because I'm not there yet. Maybe one day I will be, but I'll give him like nothing to work with, and he'll just come up with something perfect. And I'm like, I literally don't know how you do that. And I am jealous that you can do that because I cannot. I need a little bit more from people to be able to pull something out like that. But I would literally give him nothing. Like, I'm like, babe, I think I want to rebrand. He was like, what does that mean? I'm like, I mean, I'm just saying I want to rebrand. So we need like a new logo. And he was like, okay, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, but we're gonna change things up. And he'll be like, okay. And then he'll spit out a logo. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's what I was thinking, but not thinking. And I definitely didn't tell you about it, but good job. So,
Yeah.
I am very, very jealous that he can do that because I cannot. My job would probably be a lot easier if I could pull that off, but I cannot.
Yeah, it's like going to hairdresser, right? Like going to salon and then you ask them to get this style of haircut, but it's always not getting that way.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, like he able to convey the right message and able to understand. So you have a hidden gem then in your company. That's great.
Yeah, I really lucked out with that. I'm like, if I had to pay somebody for all the work he's ever done for us, I'd be flat broke right now. That's for sure.
Well, doesn't mean you didn't pay him though. You pay a lot already.
I know. I was like, well, I am your unpaid cook, cleaner, and nanny. So I would say you get your money's worth out of me.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, this is such a great idea of having a family business. Like this is what I noticed. And so let me ask you, like, you told me that you also have like outsource as well, the VA. Since when you decided to start outsourcing your task, let's say?
So we've tried hiring a VA before and it didn't work out. And I think part of it was that we weren't sure about what we needed at the time. And so, over the summer, my sister connected with somebody who ran a VA agency out of, I want to say, Venezuela. And we told them that we were thinking of starting with a VA, but we weren't exactly sure like where we were going or whatever. And so, we decided, you know what, with the pandemic and everything that's happening, like we need more support or we're not going to be able to do everything that we're trying to do. So I was like, so let's just do it. Let's just tell them we're going to hire them. And then we're going to be forced to figure out what we need them for because we already signed on to do it. And so, we signed on for the first person, which is an admin assistant. And she's been like fantastic because me and my sister started like a Facebook live show, a weekly Facebook live show. And we're actually booked out until like February 2021. And she's the one that like reaches out to guests and say, hey, we need your bio, we need this, and like following up with people when we don't have that stuff yet. And I was just like, that's so much work that we don't have to do. And it's like great because I gotta tell you, if I had to do all that stuff, we would probably still not be recording episodes because we still have to get all this stuff from people. So, and then now we recently just hired like a more tech person to kind of help us with some of the like more mundane website tasks that we don't have time to do so we can focus on like design and marketing and all that other stuff. And so far it's been working out like really great. And although sometimes I have to be like, I could just do it. I'm like, no, stop it. You have someone to do that. And so I have to keep reminding myself, like, just tell them to do it. Like, of course, there's always going to be a curve when you're starting to work with somebody. And so we're already in a group with our first assistant. We're still trying to find it with our second assistant, but he only started like 3 weeks ago. She started like 3 months ago. So, it's going to take time, but it is really great to be like, I don't have to do every little thing. That's very freeing.
Yeah. I bet that it have to change your mindset, like because before you have to do everything by yourself and then like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this. But like, wait, you have someone do it for you already. You pay them, right? You pay them to get back your time. And that's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love your company atmosphere. I love the way you work together. I think it looks very like friendly and very easy to communicate between each other though.
Yeah, and I mean, we always get the feedback from people that we're a lot of fun. And that's why they're like, that's really why we started the Facebook live show, right? Because people are like, I think more people need to see you guys' personality, because the reality is that a lot of the website designers out there that I've connected with are more like, I don't want to say cold, but they're not like me. You know what I mean? Like they're not like outgoing like I am. And when you compare like our website to their website, you can see like a huge difference in kind of like their approach and our approach. And so people are like, you need to let people know what it's like to work with you. Because when they see you on video, they're going to be like, hey, I want her to design my website and not this random person. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. So, you know, it's taken some time to get used to it. But yeah, I think it was a really good idea to do that kind of stuff.
What about when someone approach you, like potential clients or any prospect, how you select your clients then?
So we actually decided to, when we first started working with people, we were working with new business owners, but we were finding that, you know, they didn't really have the clarity or the budget to invest. And so now we're looking to work with people who are more established in their business and have a little bit more clarity and have the means to actually make the investment and recoup the investment along the way. Because I'm like, I don't want to just take your money and then you not make any money back. Like, that's not what this is for. At least for our main business. For our passion project, we actually work with military wives who are, or military spouses who are starting businesses or in their first year, because we spent 3 years just waffling around and we're like, we don't want you to do that. So we're here to give you kind of like the support and the accountability to actually follow this dream that you have of becoming an entrepreneur. So that's kind of challenging because we have two very different separate audiences, and that's another reason why we decided to hire help, because I'm like, we have big visions for what we're gonna do. We have partnerships that we're trying to start with organizations that help the military so we can reach more people and help more people. But then we have this collaboration with Diane, the copywriter, where we're trying to help women entrepreneurs hit the next level in their business. So it's two very separate things, and it's a lot of work to kind of keep them both going instead of focusing on one at the expense of the other. So that's really a big reason why we decided to start hiring help at this time, because we're like, we really want to go full speed ahead with both of these things, but there's only so many hours in a day. So we need to start outsourcing some of the littler things so we can start focusing on the bigger things.
Yeah, amazing. In case anyone want to work with you, how can they reach out to you then?
So you can find us on our website, sytbiz.com, or on Facebook, facebook.com/sytbiz.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe here or here. And this is the previous episode. Check it out. See you next time.